to Fan TV's Premier League Pizza Roundup. This is a new segment that we are bringing to you live from Quartieri. It's on Kilburn High Rd, and if you are a Chelsea fan, make sure that you come down to this restaurant. It is fantastic, and it's owned by a Chelsea season ticket holder. What more can you ask for? What a weekend it was, eh, Soph?
It was a good weekend overall, weren't it? I mean, we're beating our North London rivals. I was watching the game, and I mean, mixed emotions really. I thought we started the game. We'll quickly touch on it, won't we? I mean, I thought we started the game really, really well. First 20-25 minutes, I would say, I felt like we practically dominated it, really.
We were brilliant. We were brilliant then, but it went a bit wrong after that, didn't it?
Yeah, I think what happened is, I think from the moment Barkley made that pass to Willian, and Willian sort of switched off for a second, whoever's fault that was. I mean, I know you were a bit angry and you thought that it was more Ross Barkley's fault for making that pass, which wasn't exactly the best. But I don't think Willian should switch off in a game like that anyway. So I think from there, we sort of lost our confidence just a little bit. And then from then on, you know, obviously we had a proper bad second part of that first half.
Well,
so
this is it. I kind of, you know, when you come out of a derby, you're so excited, aren't you? You think we've beaten Arsenal, what a fantastic result. It always feels brilliant to put one over on them.
Which is still what? It still is.
Which it is. But you know, especially for me, I'm from North London, I'm from round here. I'm old. So I grew up with Arsenal battering us. They would always mock us, and you won the league in black and white, all that sort of stuff. So for us to get one over on them feels fantastic. However, when all that emotion goes out of it and you kind of think about the game, we weren't great. I'm sorry, I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, but we weren't great. But they could have had 5 goals in that first half. They could have had 5.
They could have done, but I also think we showed signs of playing football that we definitely didn't show last season. I think we also could have had a couple more goals in the first half. Murat's shot, which was, I mean, great save from Czech, I suppose. But there were a few moments here and there where I definitely did think that we also could have gone a couple more up. The downside to this, and I think that the problem that we're worrying about now, is the fact that, I mean, I think it was Mkhitaryan, Iwobi, Aubameyang, they all had very clear-cut chances from exactly the same space, more or less. And if that was City or Spurs, I would have to say,
mate, Roberto Firmino in that circumstance scores 5 goals in that half.
Or Liverpool, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Liverpool, yeah, for 100%.
We really do need to get it right. There are a lot of positives to take from that game. Can I start with my favourite?
You go while I have pizza.
Okay, yeah, enjoy.
You go.
Yeah, I can take this segment on actually. I can do this for ages because I can talk about the brilliance of this lad. Kovačić, what a man, what a performance, what a debut. He was only on the pitch for about 20 minutes, and it's not far off one of the best debuts I can remember. He came on, he completely changed the game. His introduction alongside Eden Hazard is what made the difference. And those two are kind of the only players who I think are on that sort of wavelength.
Although,
I think he was phenomenal.
I mean, I was worried that Hazard wasn't starting. I thought, Arsenal have, no matter how bad they are, I mean, I've watched some match of the days where I thought Arsenal have the worst defence going, how they even managed to, you know, only let in 3 goals. But I think Sarri bringing Hazard on when towards the end of the game where everybody's pretty much getting tired and bringing on.
It's clever.
Yeah, really clever. And the fact that Kovačić worked so well with him, they steadied the game. Kovačić didn't even look nervous to me. And I mean, Premier League debut is and
also,
against London.
do you know what we need to do now? We need to take a moment to just acknowledge the wonderfulness of Kovačić. Look at these pictures. Incredible. What a man and what a debut that was, and I'm so excited. I'm just so disappointed that we can't buy him permanently. Like, we haven't got an option to buy him permanently.
We haven't got the option at all.
The option is not there on the current deal. You know, if he wants to leave and he wants to become a Chelsea player, I think there'll be a conversation to be had. But the way that the deal is currently structured, there is no buying option, which is a real shame because he looked a class above, actually. He looked far better than anyone else in that position on the pitch.
He didn't even look nervous to me. He looked like he fit in really well with the team.
He was the most complete midfielder on the pitch, actually. He was phenomenal. And if that's how he starts, imagine when he finds his rhythm. You know, that's his introduction, firstly into playing for Chelsea, secondly to playing at Stamford Bridge, and thirdly in the Premier League. So imagine what is to come with Kovačić. He is an incredible signing, and I am over the moon with that.
So you're right, Rob. Kovačić was second to none. But what do you think of Barkley? Because I'm actually quite impressed with Sarri, the fact that he's actually willing to use him this season and willing to use his options, because last season Conte really didn't. I mean, he was pretty stubborn about it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I think he's amazing. I'm just saying I'm glad that Sarri's using him a little bit. But fans aren't convinced either way, I don't think.
I think that Ross Barkley had quite a good game, actually. I think a lot of people gave him some stick. I actually saw one of your fan cams where somebody annihilated him, and I didn't see that at all.
I thought it was stupid. Yeah.
I thought.
Sorry.
I thought Ross Barkley had an okay game for the kind of player that he is. You know, he's going to be one of our squad players this season. He's obviously nowhere near the level of his other midfield players that are vying for that position. You know, he's nowhere near the level of Kante, Kovačić, arguably Fabregas. So it's going to be interesting to see the kind of season that he has. But I don't think he let us down the other day at all. I thought he did well. Time will tell, I think. I don't actually think he's going to feature for us that much this season.
No, but I think it is important for him to get some game time. And I think what we've got to remember as well is that, much like Arsenal's manager, Sarri is still trying to find his best starting 11. So I suppose he's trying to use all his options and everything. And I actually think it's super brave of a manager not to start Hazard in our first game of the season and this. I know he's not completely fit, but there are many managers that have come into his job.
Yeah, and you've got
especially
to remember,
Sarri not being very well, like he's not winning mixed trophies.
And obviously, you know, Kovačić played in the World Cup final. You've got Hazard, who played in the third, fourth place playoff. They're knackered. They've had a really, really busy year. So I think there are a lot of positives that we've discussed. I've mentioned the negatives early on. Forgive me for that. But you're second in the league. I know it's very early to be looking at the league table. 6 points already.
I think we've already had one of our toughest games of the season.
Mate, and crucially, 6 points is massive. But almost more importantly than that, in the race for fourth, we're 6 points ahead of Arsenal and 3 points ahead of Manchester United. Manchester United in the next fixture face Tottenham. So
what is going on with United? You tell me.
It's very interesting, isn't it? So what we're going to be doing in this roundup, we're going to be doing it weekly here in Quartieri. Make sure that you come down and try this beautiful pizza. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Chelsea, and everything that we discuss will be viewed through a Chelsea prism, but we're also going to be putting it into context and discussing some of the other big issues of the season and the weekend that we've just had.
And our competition.
And we've got to talk about Manchester United, haven't we? Jose Mourinho.
I don't know what's going on
battered
there,
in Brighton. Yeah, I can't work it out. At his disposal, he has what is, for me, one of the best midfielders in the world. I think Paul Pogba is not far off being a flawless footballer. And when you think about the magic that Jose Mourinho worked under Frank Lampard, under Jose Mourinho's stewardship, Frank Lampard became officially the second best player in the world to Ronaldinho. That's how good a manager he was at creating the perfect midfielder. Mm-hmm. In Paul Pogba, he has a man with all the right attributes, but he just cannot get him playing. And I just don't know what the answer is going to be for Manchester United now.
I think, you know what I compared this to? Was it who I was talking? I had a group chat with my mates to talk about the Premier League. And,
I'm not in that.
No, you're not. No. I mean, they all live in America. They all live in Vegas.
Rude.
They all live in Vegas, don't
Right.
they? But we have a group chat, and you know, some of them are United, others are West Ham. I'm Chelsea, obviously. And I more or less compared it. You know, last season we lost to Burnley on the opening day of the season. Mm-hmm. And not a very good team. I can understand if United had City on their opening day and they lost, you know, what are you going to do about that? Also, as well, at the start of the season, I think Arsenal had pretty tough fixtures to start with, which is why they're so far behind. But I think losing to Brighton on the opening day of the season, I think if they don't make some very quick changes and very early on, which is probably something that I don't know whether it's lack of concentration or just they're not motivated or whatever, but I think their season is going to go from bad to worse. And you don't want to say that just because it's one game, but I feel like for United, we've got bets in our group, 500 quid, 600 quid, about who's going to finish higher, Chelsea or United, and there's no way I can't see us finishing higher than United this season.
It's very early, but the fact that we're 3 points ahead of them already, they faced Tottenham on the weekend when we were away at Newcastle, so with a bit of luck, all being well in Newcastle, you know, that could extend. In the race for fourth, I think it definitely puts us in the driving seat. And it's horrible to kind of be looking at the season like a race for fourth rather than a race for the Premier League. Mm-hmm. But it's very difficult to look at it as a race for the Premier League when you see what Sergio Aguero and his mates are up to in Manchester.
I mean, Man City are just... I watched a documentary on them yesterday, actually, I think.
Oh, what? So on the Netflix, not Netflix,
no,
the other one?
Amazon thing. Yeah. Not for me, obviously, but just it's interesting to see. And they have very set team unit. They will celebrate after wins. You know, even just off 1-0. They're very close connect. They have one of the best managers, who I'm not a massive fan of Pep Guardiola, which you all hate.
How highly do you rate Aguero?
I would have him at Chelsea tomorrow. Would you?
This is my thing about Aguero.
I would.
I think, when does the conversation change? I think he's chronically underrated. Can you do us a favour?
Yeah.
Comment below, let us know. How do you feel about Sergio Aguero? Because for me, when people talk about the best strikers in the Premier League ever, it's always Shearer, Henry, Drogba, sometimes. I don't think Drogba gets enough credit, but Shearer and Henry are always the ones that are mentioned. Dennis Bergkamp always gets an honourable mention. Sergio Aguero never seems to be in that conversation. and he's marvellous. He's such a fantastic striker.
I wish we'd signed him.
Do you know what? You know he scored 167 Premier League goals.
Has he?
That's the same amount
That's
as
crazy.
Burnley. He's the player has scored. That's the same amount of goals as Burnley has scored in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's wild.
I think he's, and also as well, he's got the right attitude for it. He's got the right hunger for the game. He clearly puts his all into everything, and that's a lot of.
The variety of goals that he scores as well.
Yeah, completely different. Even when he
In
won
the box,
City the league that
left
year.
foot, right foot, great in the air. My height, and he's great in the air.
Yeah, I mean, he's. I would have him any day. I think Chelsea can beat City. I think just tactically you have to get it completely spot on. You have to basically. You don't think we can, Rory? I don't like that attitude. I think we can, but tactically you've got to get it exactly right. You've got to. They've more or less got to study every game they've played. They've ever played, yeah, and exploit their weaknesses more or less.
There aren't any. Where's the weak link?
There's always a key. There's always
Right,
something.
you know, yesterday their keeper got on the week. Their keeper got an assist. Where's the weak link? The keeper got an assist. It's the best ball. It's the best ball played in the weekend. Is by their keeper. That keeper could play central midfield for most Premier League clubs.
Yeah, but I just think that it is the Premier League. Anything can happen.
Yeah, look. I mean, it's very difficult to go unbeaten. We've seen that with City last year. We know what an achievement it was for Arsenal, but I still think that it's going to take something incredible to stop this City team because they are so gifted. On Saturday, they didn't even play with any wingers. They had Sané on the bench. They didn't have any natural width. They didn't have Kyle Walker, but all the width came from Mendy, who was exceptional. This is a very, very scary Manchester City team, and it troubles me massively.
And it's also not that they're winning like 2-1. You know,
Huddersfield are
5 goals ahead.
appalling. Huddersfield are appalling. So we need to kind of bear it in mind that
Although
they're not.
they did concede one against Huddersfield, we didn't concede any against Huddersfield.
True. But I mean, they're going to take some stopping. Now we're going to have to get onto the part of the video that I've been dreading. Not been looking forward to this at all. So we're going to skim past it. I'm going to leave it to you if that's all right. Tottenham won 3-1. Over to you, Safe.
I'm not really eating my pizza, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. I mean, look, Harry Kane broke his duck in August, which was unsurprising, really.
I'm not too worried about Tottenham this season, if I'm being honest. I'm not too worried about them.
They didn't sign a player. They did not sign a player in the close season.
Which is wild. And I think that won't show so much early on, but I think throughout the season it will do, because I think the difference between us this season and them is this last season when we brought in new players, like the likes of Bakayoko and Morata, majorly underperformed. Obviously, Bakayoko's now out on loan, isn't he? Yeah. This season, we have made some very, very crucial signings in midfield. Tottenham have an incredibly strong midfield. I mean, the likes of Eriksen, who scares me every single time.
Eriksen's a masterful football player and can do things on a pitch that nobody else can.
Jorginho, I think they're gonna. If Morata can find form as well, I think we've got a very good chance of winning away at Lane.
I do as well. And the thing is, I think that Tottenham have made a massive error, because when you're on top, when you're in the ascendancy, that's the time to strengthen. That's the time to really, try and reinforce your team and try and go.
Why didn't they buy anyone?
Well, I mean, they're trying to pay for the stadium. I imagine it's financial. I imagine Daniel Levy doesn't want to contribute. I know Joe Lewis, I think Joe Lewis has invested about 300 million into the stadium. So perhaps doesn't want to invest in the team as well. But it does seem like madness, because they really did have a chance, Tottenham, to kick on to that next level and really compete for the Premier League. Whereas now I think they're probably in quite a good spot to maintain their Champions League place. But I don't think they're likely to go beyond that, which I'm delighted about. But I think it's a bit of a shame from their perspective. I don't see why they haven't used this window to go, right, where were we weak, where do we need reinforcements, and how do we kick on to the next level?
Even if you haven't got that much of a spend, you've still got the odd, must have some money saved in the back of the banks for somewhere.
Yeah, I think that the vast majority of it will have all gone on that stadium, which we may not even be going to this year. They haven't got a ground currently.
Which is really annoying.
Have you seen what's going to happen with their game against Man City? So Tottenham are due to play Man City in a couple of weeks. City won't reverse the fixture, so they can't play out there, so it has to be played at Tottenham's home ground. Tottenham's home ground that day is not ready, and Wembley has been given to the NFL. So there's currently nowhere for Tottenham to play. They might have to just give the game up 3-0. There's nowhere to play the game. Yeah, genuinely. They don't have a stadium currently to play in. So they're desperately trying to, my mate who lives around here actually, he got a text, he's an electrician, they constantly just send texts looking for work. Tottenham now are just getting everyone in. They're just ready to employ everyone to try and get the stadium ready.
Why isn't it ready on time? Get it together.
Get it together. Yeah, Levy. You'll have to hope Daniel Levy's watching this video and he can comment below.
But no, I do think by the time it comes around, I expect they will sort it out. I can't imagine it would do them any favours to not have a stadium to play in. But what I do think is, I think by the time it does come around, I think we've got a very, very good chance of winning against them this year. Unlike last year where I was very worried, I think we've beaten Arsenal, who, to be fair, no matter how crap they are in all their fixtures against really, really rubbish teams, for some reason they always seem to pull something out the bag against us. They're probably more up for it. They know how to beat us. But and that didn't happen this season. So I think we've got off to a really, really good start. And more so than that, I've seen us play some football that we didn't play last season. Yes,
we are knocking it back quite nicely. I think now there's just one last thing to talk about, if you don't mind.
Go on then.
Can we just discuss the brilliance of the man Marcos Alonso?
Love Marcos Alonso. Everyone's got to stop being a bit, and Pedro. You've got to stop being nicer to him.
Pedro had a good game. This time last year, we went to Tottenham at Wembley. We were really worried about the game. There was their first day at Wembley. Marcos Alonso pings in two. A year later, fast forward, 1 year later, we're playing Arsenal at home, first home game of the season, desperate for a win. We've been 2-0 up. It's gone to 2-2. That man again. How anyone can't be in love with that man, I do not know.
Now I love him. I think he's such a great addition to our team. I think when he came, he just wasn't really that well known, and probably took him a while to not even a while to settle in, just to find where he was suited to our team.
Yeah,
I think now that he's flying, there should be no more.
Couldn't agree.
Cannot agree more. Him. Definitely won't get any from me anyway.
Absolutely. So one last thing to talk about quickly. Yeah. Liverpool playing Crystal Palace tonight at Selhurst. It hasn't been a ground that's been particularly kind to them over the years. Score prediction?
Oh, I think Liverpool will win. I think they will. I don't think it will be plain sailing. I predict probably 3-1.
3-1 Liverpool. Yeah. I'm going to go 3-0 Liverpool. So comment below and let us know your predictions for that one. Do us a favour, if you've enjoyed this video, please let us know. Just click the thumbs up just so that we can monitor it, because it's a new style video. We just want to make sure that you are happy with it. And if you are, we'll do it again. And if you're not, we won't. And also a huge thanks to my friend Tony, who owns this restaurant. It's called Quartieri. It's on Kilburn High Rd. Make sure that you come down and say Rory sent you.
And of course, subscribe.
Go on, you Blues.